Hi, it's KCCK's Culture Crawl. I'm Dennis Green with the second in our series of interviews with Jazz Under the Stars performers. Today, it's the members of Invisible Jazz, and kind of a rarity, we have the whole band, don't we, Ken?
We do.
We do have all four invisible men with us today. Ken Duncan, welcome.
Oh, thank you very much for having us.
Yeah. Dave Schauber.
Yep, same here.
Nice to have you. John Hall.
Good morning.
And John Reesner.
Howdy doody.
Two Johns in the corner.
Yes.
There, if you're watching the video. Well, we're excited about hearing the Invisible Band at Jazz Under the Stars. I don't think we've had the Invisible Band at Jazz Under the Stars in this configuration. We've had Funk Daddies.
And Funk Daddies.
Invisible Jazz has performed at First Friday Jazz, but this is you share a lot. Share most of your members with Funk Daddies, who people have seen. Yeah,
didn't start off that way,
Yeah.
but as things went on, we got fortunate.
Yeah. So Ken and John Reesner, I know that you two started pretty much started this band together back in the 80s, right? That's the genesis of the ensemble?
Yes, it is. And Ken, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think it was back in '84. We had been working together on some things.
We've
school.
been in band since '76 together.
Yeah, but we graduated college.
Yes.
And then went on to do music in kind of like the business-to-business realm. And one of the things that really got the Invisible Band going was Ken had a contract with the Iowa football team to do with Hayden Fry wanted a Hawk Rap song so he could battle against the Bears.
So we created
Super
the
Bowl.
Hawk Rap.
Right. I remember the Hawk Rap.
With Dr. Morbius.
Combined.
That's where the name came out of, is his Saturday night monster show on KCRG. We were his backup band. So that's hence the Invisible Band.
Oh, okay. All right. That's where that came from.
Well, sort of, yeah.
Sort of, yeah. we needed a name. We never really played out, so
No.
it fit really good.
We did end up playing a couple of half-times at Hawkeye basketball games, though.
That was fun.
That was a lot of fun.
So you were kind of a studio band for a while then.
Oh,
you played
very
on
much so.
TV, and you did, like John said, it sounds like you did some maybe recorded some music and things like that for businesses that they needed for
we
different
did a lot
purposes.
Of shows, a lot of trade
Jingles,
shows,
things like that. But
station
the
IDs.
the Hawk Rap went into, for 3 years, we produced a 90-second original audio piece with a rap describing the previous Saturday's game.
Oh, wow.
And they aired it first on Channel 9 and then on RCM, which was the network that handled the whole thing. So yeah, it was a big deal.
And back in the 80s, that was a little bit more of a production. Now you could pretty much lay the instrumental track down, hand the vocal to somebody with a microphone in their computer, and done. But you would have had to have gone back into the studio for that.
We did that, and there were a couple of times that we actually drove the reel-to-reel tape
to Illinois.
where RCM was, and that was a long night. But no, it was
cool.
exciting.
We had the whole football team in my basement.
Yes,
Oh, really?
Yeah, because they're doing the shouts in the
the
song.
shouts in the song.
Oh,
yeah.
sure.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Well, now, but today with NIL, you can't afford them.
No, absolutely not.
Good point. Good point.
But then I like to think they can't afford us either.
Well, there you go.
Oh yeah, they they're cheap.
So, John and Dave, when did you start playing with these cats?
I've been playing with John.
Lean in there,
okay.
John. Or
There we
you
go.
There you
All right.
yeah.
All right. So, many years ago, along in a galaxy far away, I met this John Reesner guy came in to replace a guitar player in a band called Funk 101 that I was in. And immediately I kind of hit it off with this guy. He's just like, we just, kind of fit well together. So I don't know if that was 20 years ago or so, maybe more, but now. But we've continued to play together over the years in various projects. And one time I got paired up with Ken and him down at the country club in Iowa City to play some standards and stuff. And after that, Ken's like, "Oh, we're a band now."
Well,
So
we got called for a corporate event, and the jazz trio that they had booked canceled the day before for some reason. So I said, well, guys, I'm going to call John and see if we can put a trio together. So we had no rehearsal, no nothing. John put the song list together. We went down there. People actually stopped eating to listen to us. So it was like, hey, guys, I think we might have something. So then we just jumped into rehearsing and a lot of John's originals and all the favorite music that John and I played in the original Invisible Band in the 80s, because we did that from 86 to 89. And we played a lot of places around with that group.
Dave, when did you come on board?
Well, I actually connected with Ken and John Reasoner back in college. We played in the Kabbalah band back then.
Yeah.
The bar band back then.
Kabbalah.
Kabbalah, yeah. So that was my connection back with those guys. And then I went on to, raise a family and build a house and those kind of things. And I kind of put the horn down for many, many years. And when Kabbalah got back together for the induction in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, these guys, we got together again. And then Ken's like, hey, Dave, why don't you do some playing with us? And it's like, it's been my pleasure to be associated with these fine players ever since then. So that's my connection.
So you're in the Iowa Rock and Roll Hall of Fame then as Kabbalah, right? We're inducted as members of Kabbalah.
John and Dave and me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And John Hall, you are, maybe the most versatile musician in all of our region. You play classical bass with symphony orchestras. You play funk in Funk 101 and other groups. You're a regular blues and blues rock player with Craig Erickson, and then also this band, of course, which is more modern jazz. So talk to me about just kind of playing that change up. I mean, every musician has to be versatile and do lots of different things. But what goes through your head when you're getting ready for all these different kinds of gigs? How do you change your headspace?
That's a good question. I'm actually, I'm more comfortable in some genres than others, but I enjoy, mixing it up and playing a lot of different styles. I've always been into a lot of different types of music, and again, these guys are very versatile too. So it's kind of like in this band, I sort of feel like it's almost like a fusion thing where there's a lot of different influences going on, and the improvisational element of it is kind of what makes it more jazzy for us. But maybe I'd bring the rock to it or whatever, But, I mean, growing up listening to Stanley Clarke, is a big influence on me, and Jack Bruce and people like that, that sort of had a jazz background and sort of mixed it up with rock music. And so I find that really fun to play, and that's, it's all great. I love playing in the symphony. I'm looking forward to this next season and, get my chops ready for, doing a lot of gigging. It's great that I'm at a point in life now where that's pretty much all I have to worry about is teaching some lessons and playing gigs.
Or retirement.
Yeah.
Although he's one of the busiest retired people I've ever seen.
Yeah.
And the playlist for this band is, you don't have a lot of bands who have, I'll say, the courage to cover, Al DeMiola and Weather Report and Lee Ritenour. I mean, that's, those are things that, we all love them, but they aren't a part of every band's playlist.
We stretch. Seriously, we've always tried to, one, play the music we love, which always lent toward the Chick Corea and the Lee Ritenour and that type of thing. But even John's originals are incredibly sophisticated. They're wonderful compositions. And honestly, even at this age, I think all of us are trying to get better every time we play.
John Reasoner, as pull the microphone over there.
Yes,
so the band does you play for a number of your originals in this band too.
Quite a bit, as many as we can.
Yeah.
And it's always
and-
been
and
a
10
joy.
at least.
Yeah.
And are those? Are you writing new songs, or those old favorites that you've had in the playlist
Well,
for a while?
mainly-
What's your writing process these days?
It's usually been based upon my experiences and what's going on now. We've got 3 songs that are coming up that are new.
Yep.
Basically, we'll play this, and it was part of a project I'm working on to help raise money for the animals, because they need it, all the horses and cats and dogs and all that stuff. But it's titled Orphans of the Storm, and it's 3 songs that'll be together, and they really touch on the idea of trying to save fur, trying to save feathers, trying to save the fins, and so it's a lot of fun, and it's very meaningful to me because I just love animals.
And so your originals, a few of which are new, will be part of the program. Have you added any other new charts to the repertoire?
Well, we constantly do. I mean, the main thing the last couple of months has been John's new ones from the Orphans of the Storm. And I think when people hear them, they're going to be blown away because they're just fantastic compositions.
And they'll want to donate more money to the animals.
Well, that too, yes.
And KCCK.
But no, we constantly add new material. We're not going to rest on our laurels. The stuff that we have played for quite a long time. Take, for instance, Al DeMiola and Chick Corea's Senior Mouse. When I first talked to John about doing this as a band, reconstituting it, he says, well, only if we can play Senior Mouse. And I'm going, okay. Well, John and I worked on it for a solid 3 months before it was even close to performance level. So that's the kind of material that we really, really like to work on. And we like to do a lot of genre. We do Dixie Dregs, and then we do Sugar,
Herbie Hancock.
Hancock.
Well, I know when John Hall starts the intro to School Days, which you often do, that's that's always a happy thing for me.
We do our own version of Frankenstein. That actually I sent you a copy.
Oh yeah.
Of that, and we just said, how can we mutate a song that we like and we've played, but how can we make it into a different?
Yeah. It's
style?
instrumental, but you don't think of it as a jazz song.
No. And people who hear it, they're out there going,
What was it?
They say, I think I know that song.
I know
and then
this. How
certain
do I
part
know
comes
this?
up and they go,
Yeah.
oh my gosh, that's Edgar Winter, and just it is.
All right, so now, of course, you all have vast experience, but I'm going to put you on the spot. And John Hall, you mentioned a couple of influences, but thinking of this, in this genre that you play as the Invisible Band, who would you say is your biggest influence? John, I'm going to let you off the hook, because you already mentioned Stanley Clarke, and let's see, Dave, we'll go to you next.
Probably, and this is even going way back, probably Wayne.
Wayne Shorter. Oh yeah, sure, yeah.
And that's, you kind of grow up with what was, what you grew up with when you're developing, and but Paul Desmond, I mean, even folks like that back in the day, those are big influences.
So yeah, so the big, so even when you're talking about contemporary or modern, more electrified jazz, you kind of go back to those. Going to go back to those, those standard
Smiles, all that
titans.
stuff.
Yeah. Ken, how about you?
Well, my first one was Buddy Rich, and I had the fortune to seeing him live 3 times. One time sitting right off the edge of the stage, and I just loved how he played. But then again, I loved how David Garibaldi with Tower Power played, and Danny Serafin, and I came out of mainly big horn bands, kind of similar to what we still do. But then Alex Acuna and Peter Erskine. Billy Cobham was a huge influence on me. But what I tried to do when I was in college, it was popular for guys to say, oh, who do you play like? And I said, well, I don't really try to play like anybody, but I do a lot of research and I steal a lot of ideas from other drummers. And so I've just tried to make my own style out of all the great ones.
Sure. Well, yeah. John, what about you? Who are you thinking about when you're on stage?
Oh, wow, there's so many. But,
Yeah.
when Chick Corea's Light as a Feather first came out, that was like, well, open the door. I was, playing guitar and loving all the stuff we were doing, but that was like a whole new world. It's like, I'm going there. And so Al DeMiola, Pat Metheny, George Benson, Pat Martino, boy, there's just a bunch of them, and I still look for others too. Or this new guy, Mateo, what's his name? Mateo Macudo, I think it's called, and he was classically trained, but he plays without pick, and he's got all fingers going everywhere. And if you've ever seen like Stanley Jordan,
Oh, yeah.
First time I saw him, I went, oh my gosh, I need an aspirin. Gave me a headache to watch him, trying to figure out what he's doing. But all that stuff's just amazing. So I just love seeing, new talent come out and how everybody, just great stuff. So.
The Invisible Band headlines Jazz Under the Stars Week 2, August 8th, Noelridge Park. And as always, we'll have an opening band, which is some just titanic college players. The Next Gen Jazz Collective, led by pianist Carson Parker. Marvin Truong's in there as well, and they've got a great lineup. And it's going to be the KCCK album and CD sale. So after you guys do your sound check, you'll have to browse the selection.
Oh, absolutely. I want to be first in line.
That's right. Yeah. I tried to tell them I would just pay them in albums and CDs, but that didn't work out quite so well. Well, gentlemen, this is I'm really looking forward to this. This band has been a favorite for a long time. Can't believe we haven't had Invisible Band at Jazz Under the Stars
Neither
yet.
can we.
But we are finally fixing that this year.
Also think of the Jazz Fest.
Yes, the Iowa City Jazz Festival is as well. We're always on the lookout for good talent, good young talent there as well.
Absolutely.
Well, we're looking forward to another great night in Noelridge Park. 6:30 is when the music starts. Thursday, August 8th, with the Invisible Band and the Next Gen Jazz Collective and the KCCK album and CD sale. Guys, looking forward to it. We'll see you then.
Thank you.
Thanks, Dennis.
You can hear the Culture Crawl live on the radio many weekdays at 10:30, or download the podcast, watch or listen on your own schedule at kcck.org/culture, or using your favorite podcast app. You can watch our videos on our Facebook or YouTube channels, too. Our producer is Lydia Kilgore. I'm Dennis Green. I'll talk to you later.